Tell Them You Love Me is currently number 2 on Netflix. I wouldn't be surprised if it is number 1 by now. It is a fascinating documentary involving Anna and Derek. If you have not seen this story already and you want to sit here and listen to this video, I promise you there may be slight spoiler alerts, but not really. You have to come from this story with your own interpretation. So I'm just going to tell you how I felt about the story. I will intentionally leave a lot of the stuff out, but please look at it. Look at it. It is just very, very, very interesting. I assure you that it is. Anna Stubblefield was an assistant professor of philosophy at Rutgers University in Newark, New Jersey. In 1989, she was married to Roger Stubblefield, a composer, conductor, and tuba player. The Stubblefields were an interracial couple that had 2 young children. In 2009, Anna, who was 39 years old at the time, met John Johnson. He is the brother of a mentally ill Derek, who was 28 years old at the time. Anna said that she could help Derek be able to communicate. And I mean, this was an opportunity for Derek. From what I watched on the documentary, it was mostly Derek's mother and brother that was taking care of him. There may have been other family members that was in and out, but it was mainly those 2. And I do believe in Derek's life, it was mainly those 2 that was taking care of him. Derek's father had left when he was very young, and I don't believe Derek even knew his father. Derek is nonverbal, and he has cerebral palsy. Anna would help him use a tool called FC communication. I believe her mother also used that tool with other special needs children, and Anna had some type of affection for special needs children, for people with certain handicaps. She just had that type of heart for them, where she even mimicked them in a way like a blind person. They used that as one of the examples. She would blindfold herself for 2 or 3 days and walk around the house like she was blind. She really had some type of affection for handicap and people with disabilities. So using this assisted typing technique, facilitator have to physically support a person's hand or arm to point to letters on the keyboard. And this is what she was showing that Derek was doing. He was using this keyboard. And even the mother said that as they would drive around, he would look up and he was reading signs. He was reading the street signs. So Derek was learning something. Anna was teaching him something. Now, I can't recall how long it took. It was definitely more than 2 weeks, definitely more than 2 months. Was it more than 2 years? It was a certain amount of time that Anna had spent with Derek teaching him. Now, we know when we had small children and they came home from kindergarten or first grade, the first thing we asked them, if they wasn't already showing us with excitement, what did you learn? And I'm pretty sure they asked Derek, what did he learn? And he had to show he was communicating on this FC communication board. He had to show. So using this technique that Derek had learned, she told Derek that she loved him. They was having a conversation where Derek said that he didn't believe that he would ever be with somebody, that he would ever, have a family or anything like that. And she assured him that he would. And she told him that she loved him. And he responded back, I know that you love me. He responded that he loved her too. So later on, it would evolve into him asking to see her breasts, and to them having sexual intercourse, where I guess using this FC communications board, he consented to doing this. Now, before it even got to the point where Anna and Derek would tell the mother and the brother that they were intimate with each other, there were signs that Anna may have been going outside the boundaries, I would say. Definitely, it was a situation where they were in a car and Anna was in the front seat. I guess Derek was in the back seat. The mom was driving, and the mom had on gospel music. She said that Derek loved gospel music, but Anna said no, he likes classical. So that was a situation right there. It was another circumstance where the mother was dressing Derek, and obviously Anna is right there, and Anna is telling the mother that no, he doesn't want to wear that. He wants to wear this. Now, I'm like, you are a facilitator. You are a professor, a teacher. You're supposed to be teaching my son. So I'm kind of thinking, why are you in the room when I'm dressing my child? You should be in the kitchen or the living room. You shouldn't be in the bedroom. But that was just my thinking. Then there was another situation where the mother was feeding Derek meat. And Anna said, oh no, he's a vegetarian. So those were 3 of the examples. And I'm sure there was many more that they did not put in this documentary where they felt that Anna was stepping outside her boundaries and something else was going on there. But they didn't quite think that it was that was going on there. So at this dinner table one day, Anna basically tells Derek, tell him that you love me. Now, the keyboard was there, and he told them. He had to tell them. They asked Anna to leave. They had to sort this out, and Anna would call. Anna would call to check on Derek, and, first they needed a little time. Then they said, no, you cannot see Derek anymore. So I believe the police were involved, and other situations were involved where Anna was arrested. So the thing is, in court during the trial, a very feeble Derek, helped by 1 or 2 people entering the courtroom. When they said he wasn't like that, Derek was able to walk on his own. But he came in, they wouldn't even let him testify using this FC keyboard. They threw the whole testimony about the FC keyboard out, which was actually crazy because this is what it's based on. Anna, you were a figure of authority there where you were helping this young man with this mental illness, this handicap. You were helping him. And you let them throw out the biggest piece of the situation. This is what the keyboard, that they threw it out. They threw it out. So now they left her looking like a teacher who was preying on a mentally ill person with cerebral palsy. That's what they made it look like, which was horrible. If the main thing, the keyboard, was not introduced in any of the testimony. That's terrible. So she ended up getting some time, and she got 12 years. 2 terms of 12 years. I think they ran concurrently. She did get out earlier than that. And I'm glad that she did, because I do believe that Derek was communicating on this keyboard. He had to be. Your son was going off for hours with this woman. He has to show you something that he's learned there. He has to. But for some reason, they threw that out. That's another reason why they overturned her situation, because they did not put that piece into the trial. Now, on my channel, Dark Ideas, the beginning of June, it was Teacher Appreciation Week. And I spoke about how these teachers, some of them very beautiful, that had husbands and children, they were literally SAing 11-year-olds, 13, 14-year-olds, and claimed that they were in love with these kids. Some of them did have to do time. Some of them very little time. But this situation, for me, was very different. I do believe Anna did in some weird way, have a love for Derek. And it's easy to love somebody, it is, but she obviously was sexually attracted to Derek as well because she was intimate with him in her office on gym mats. I tell you, you have to listen to it. You have to watch it for yourself. I'm going to leave a lot of it out so you can see what I'm saying from the beginning. A lot of people, when I talked about this story on my Facebook page, a lot of people was like, well, one person in particular, he felt that the brother was, quote, salty. I guess because, he knew Anna first. And now, Anna, you chose to sleep with my disabled brother other than me. I mean, that could be a part of it. Sibling rivalry. Hey, that could be a part of it. And this is a woman. And this is a Caucasian woman. So that could have been part of it. It could have been. I'm not saying it could have been. I never spoke to the mother and the brother, so it could have been. So Anna, to me, she seems sad. She cannot contact Derek no more. She doesn't know how he's doing. She doesn't know anything about Derek, and it probably will be for her own good. Now, I was actually thinking, what if Anna would have gotten impregnated by Derek? Would the mother of Derek, would she have tried to keep the baby? Because this is probably her son's only chance, really, at being a father? Or would she say no, because she already has to take care of Derek for the rest of her life? Now she has to take care of a child, and even if the child is 100% healthy, physically normal, it would have been a twist on it. That did not happen, but that did come into my brain when I was watching, like, oh my God, did she get pregnant? But no, she didn't get pregnant. So yes, Tell Them You Love Me. It's a really, really, really good documentary on Netflix. I enjoyed it a lot. Definitely. Thumbs up for this one. Thumbs up. Check it out. Come back here and let me know how you feel. We have to agree to disagree. If you think that everything I said was wrong, we have to agree to disagree. Tell them you love me.
Tell them you love me. So, Christine, how did you feel about that documentary of Anna, Stubblefield, and Derek Johnson?
I think Anna needed to go to prison for way more than she got.
Why?
Because she was a child, not a pedophile. Well, I guess she was a pedophile.
Not necessarily. He was 28. He was 28 and she was 29.
But mentally he was not 28.
Okay.
Mentally, he was probably about 6 or 7, maybe younger.
Damn, I didn't think of it like that.
Yeah, so mentally he was 28, but he wasn't a 28-year-old man.
Mm-hmm.
So, and she was just, even her husband said she was a narcissistic person.
Mm-hmm.
And that she was brainwashing people. So it's like, if your husband's saying that you're a narcissist, shouldn't a red flag pop up?
Yeah. Okay, so
I felt bad for his mom, actually.
Why is that?
Because she was just trying to raise her son up who had a disability and do what was right for him. And she thought by hiring this Anna that she was doing the right thing. But come to find out, she was a pedophile and she was molesting this young man.
So do you think that FC keyboard was true? Do you think that he was actually communicating on that with her?
No, because you can communicate on those things, because I've worked with a client who had one of those computers.
Mm-hmm.
And he would respond. But they don't respond. A person with cerebral palsy doesn't respond quickly. They have to think about what they're going to say. Therefore, it's going to take them longer to type it out on the computer. So you can't just grab their finger, or, if they have a little headpiece on their wheelchair, you can't just grab something and have them type something out. They have to think about it. Because their brain's not thinking in the same normal way as a normal person.
Gotcha. Wow. All right, so you don't think that there was any jealousy between the brother? I believe the brother's name was John. Do you think he was, really, really upset with the circumstance? Remember, he did introduce Anna to Derek.
No, I think he was more pissed off. I think he was more pissed off because she took advantage of his brother. Yeah. Because I think he felt like he was to blame for what happened because he introduced them together.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't think that there was jealousy. I don't think he wanted Anna at all. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was more of I blame myself because if I wouldn't have introduced her to my little brother, this would never have happened.
Wow. All right. That's interesting. I'm thinking about it a slightly different way now, because I do kind of still feel a little bit of sympathy for Anna, but I really don't know, developmental, really how old she was.
As a caregiver for over 20 years, I don't feel any sympathy for her because she knew what she was doing.
Do you think something was wrong with her mentally as well?
Possibly. I think that she wasn't getting what she needed from home, from her husband. Therefore, she started preying on her clients. You know what I mean? And so,
I think it was just him.
Because he was nonverbal. He couldn't speak. He couldn't communicate. And they kept deeming him as mentally retarded.
Yeah.
So if you're deemed mentally retarded, your brain's not functioning correctly, right?
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then she should have got a whole lot longer because he wasn't able to make the proper decisions of somebody who was in their sound mind.
So why do you think they threw that out of the trial? They didn't want, the jurors or nobody to even know that he had been doing some type of communication on that FC keyboard. Why do you think they thrown that out?
I think they threw it out of the trial because it wasn't going to stand up. Because like I just said, somebody who has cerebral palsy, if they're going to type on their talking device, it's going to take them a minute to get their thoughts in order to be able to type out what they want. Because I worked with a young man in Pennsylvania who had one of those devices. And you could say to him, you could ask him 5 questions in a row, but he wasn't going to answer those 5 questions until he answered your first question. And your first question isn't going to be answered until he gets his thoughts together where he can type it out onto his device. And he couldn't use his fingers to type, so they had a little thing on his headrest where he would click on that and it would do the typing for him.
Alright. Do you remember why they decided to release her earlier? Because she was supposed to do 12 years. Do you remember why they released her?
Wasn't it because of her behavior? Wasn't it?
No, it's because they didn't allow all the evidence in. Yeah, so they should have allowed it in. Because maybe, they should have allowed it in.
When she got released, she's kind of screwed anyway because she could never do her job again because she has all that records saying that she did what she did. Nobody's going to hire her. Nobody's going to give her a job.
Well, not for teaching. I mean, she could do other stuff, but not... Well, she could teach adults that are mentally able. You know what I mean? That
I don't think she's ever going to get a job doing that. Because even, like, if you were to work for, like, the barber center or someplace that has...
no, it would never be nothing like that. I'm talking about maybe teaching adults that want to know how to read. It would be something not like she was, you know. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Because in reality, a pedophile even has... Like, say a pedophile gets released from prison. All the neighbors have a right to know that a pedophile is going to be living in your neighborhood. So if they don't want that pedophile living in their neighborhood, they could fight their HOA or whoever it is that's going to allow him to live there, and that pedophile has to leave. They have to move. They're not allowed to be there. And also, like a pedophile, they can't live within a certain distance from a school or anything like that because they're pedophiles.
Yeah.
They do what they do with the young kids. And I mean, that honestly, in my eyes, even though that guy was 28 years old, because he was in the situation he was at, he was still a kid because mentally he was not thinking.
Yeah.
You know, my other thing is, how did she entice him to get an erection? You know what I mean?
Well, that's probably easy.
You know? I mean, that might have been easy.
It probably was really easy.
You know?
You know, I mean, just like slightly off the subject, I've heard when men were actually being R-worded by a woman, they actually got an erection, even though they didn't want to perform, you know, because the body physically was doing that, you know, so even though they didn't want it, so it's something like that. It probably was easy, you know, but like, do you remember the part where they were saying he had like abrasions on his back, and she had said she had like a gym mat down with a towel, and she got on top of him? Because I remember John, the brother, was like she had to be, 150, 160 pounds around that time. So she actually had to get on top of him. You know, and so they're saying that, you know, he had some type of bruising on his back, and she had maybe drugged him or something. I don't think she was trying to physically abuse him. Yeah, something like that. I don't think she was like abusing him. She just was, she was having sex with him. Definitely. So my last question, I already know what it is. You would never want her to get a chance to talk to Derek again, right?
No, like, why would you?
Do you think...
Like, he's already suffered emotional trauma.
Oh, my God. I don't know.
And physical trauma.
Yeah.
And you know his mama ain't gonna want that. His mama's not gonna allow that at all. Come on. And his brother's gonna be like, oh, hell no.
Yeah. No, I don't think that they should actually. She looked sad. She looked... It's so complicated. It is. She should never see him again. I do agree with that. And like I stated, even though, you know, I don't know what was going on with that keyboard. Let's just say that he was typing this stuff on that keyboard.
She needs to honestly
stay away from him, yes. But wait, before I lose my train of thought, Stop it. Before I lose my train of thought, no, I don't think that she does need to be around him. No, I don't. I really don't. I think that, you know, she should move on. Definitely. I think that everybody should go their separate ways.
If she has children, I don't think she should be allowed to be around her own children.
Well, they should be grown now.
Yeah, but still, they probably have kids of their own. She don't need to be around anybody's kids. She needs to be in her own little pedophile land.
Oh,
and do her little pedophile ways by herself.
Okay.
I mean, that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, because how are you going to rehab somebody who has thoughts like that? I mean, that's the thing that's hard to do.
You know, it was like, seriously, and I'm trying to put it in the nicest way ever. I know she took advantage of him, of course, But, I don't know. They just made it seem like it was such a love
But
story.
the thing is, she was making it like a love story.
You don't think he was?
I don't believe he was. I don't believe.
Okay, check it out. You know what? They didn't say. Okay, you know how if a child was, I'm going to say, tampered with, and they come home, they start acting out. They start to not want to do the things that they normally would do. They didn't say in the documentary, was he acting out or anything. It was after the fact, like when he couldn't see her anymore.
Yeah.
That's when he started. Remember the mom said he was in there carrying on. Yeah. So it was afterwards. So it's not like they talked about any signs, like maybe he wasn't trying to eat or, anything like that. So, but I mean, she did need to do some time because she was in an authoritative position and she took full advantage of it. So yeah, I do believe that she should. Yes. Yes. Okay, well, anything else you want to add?
Nope, I'm good.
Thank you, Christine. And please excuse the audio if it was a little funky, but you can't redo something that was live. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you guys have already seen Tell Them You Love Me, please leave me a comment of how you felt about this documentary. If you haven't seen it, go on over to Netflix, watch it, come on back here and share your feelings about this documentary. And I do wish them all well. I wish Anna well. I do. I hope her intentions were not malicious. I wish the mother well because she has to take care of her son pretty much probably for the rest of her life. And most definitely I wish John Johnson, that's the brother, well, because I know he had some type of anger because he did introduce this woman to his brother. And I also wish Anna's ex-husband well and the children well because they were all affected by this. And most definitely I wish Derek Johnson well because we don't really know how he really felt throughout this whole ordeal. We just really don't know. Thanks again, Netflix and friends.